grade 9s. It's kind of bright, behind me? I got the sun's shining in. It's a beautiful day. Got this big bright light. Which way? Everything's backwards. Big bright light right there. Anyways, we're going to take a look at your opinion paragraphs. I've marked what's come in so far, and I just wanted to point out a couple of things, give you guys a little bit of feedback as a class, rather than I can't really, hand it back to you and sit beside you and say, okay, well, these are the things you did right, and these are the things that you need to improve on. It's a virtual school, so we're going to try this and see how this works. So I've taken one of the students' opinion paragraphs that has been submitted. I took their name off of it so they don't feel centered out, but they did a very good job, so I want to share the job that they did and show you what they did right, and ways that the students and all of you can improve. So I've made some notes, as you can see here, while marking, like a full page of notes. So hopefully, as we carry on through this virtual class, that this page of notes will be much smaller next time. Okay, so you can see right away, this student has filled out the templates. Now, in a normal situation, in a normal classroom where I could, help you fill this out and collect it and give you feedback on it, that would be amazing. But it's not really the case right now. So, if I give you a template like this, I'm not expecting that you fill it out, but you should use it. Like, it's going to help you out in the long run. So they have their topic sentence. Masks should be mandatory when entering an indoor public space. So arguments. 3 arguments with 3 pieces of evidence to support your opinion. Now, this is where a lot of the notes came in. There was a lot of you that just kind of, I know it is called an opinion paragraph, but you need evidence to back up your opinion. You can't just say masks are good because they help prevent the spread of the virus. Well, how? Where did you get this information? No one in this class is a doctor or has done studies and tests proving that masks do help prevent the spread, so we need to look outside of the classroom into other resources in order to come to these conclusions. So let's take a look. Reason 1. Firstly, face masks, along with other safety precautions, should be mandatory in indoor public spaces to try and slow the spread of COVID-19. Evidence. So this is what I was talking about here. The student has some solid secondary sources that are backing up her first point. So the evidence, face masks combined with other preventative measures such as frequent hand washing and social distancing help slow the spread of the virus. Okay, perfect. Explanation behind this precautionary measure are there to help protect us. Point reason number 2. The student has another point here backed up by yet another source, and point reason 3, backed up evidence here by another source. And then in conclusion, by face masks being mandatory in indoor public spaces, we're protecting ourselves, being cautious of others, and respecting those around us. So the student also tied in all 3 points into their conclusion, which is amazing. That's what we need. That's what we want. Okay, a couple of you, this is how it should look for the most part. This paragraph here. You'll notice the indent here. Now, I think I have this edited. Okay, so there's a button on your computer keyboard called Tab. Hit the tab. You need to indent your paragraph. It's just proper form. What else do I have in my notes? Okay, so one thing that I would change with this student's paragraph is, it doesn't need to be formatted in the same way as the example I gave you. You don't need a legend. You don't need to bold and highlight and underline and italicize all these things. That was just for the example. It's okay. For those of you that did do this, like italicize the different parts and such, I didn't take off marks for that. That's okay. But the reason why the example one that we did was like that was so that you had an idea of how it worked out. You don't need these to be capitalized all the way. Your joining words, these can just be normal. Oop, what happened there? And your proof definitely needs to have the quotation marks, but it does not need to be underlined. So we're going to take out the underline there, take out the underline over here, take out the underline over here. Oop, I didn't take out the underline over here, did I? Okay, there we go. Here's another linking word. So these things doesn't need to be done like this. So for the next one that we do, we're not going to be having all the, like a legend with italicized. And I will know, because I am a teacher, what your introduction, topic, and concluding sentence, I'm going to know the point. I'm going to know your proof, your explanation. It's my job to know these things. So you don't need to lay it out in such a fashion. So there, that's what it should look like. Now, these are correct. Your evidence that you get from a resource should be in the quotation marks like this. Okay. A couple of you submitted like mini essays almost. Like a paragraph is just one indent. That's it. You don't need to make mini paragraphs of all of your points within for this. Like the purpose is to write a paragraph, not a series of paragraphs. We will get into that later. Also, making sure that you have a well-defined introduction and conclusion sentence. Some people just started with first, face masks along with other safety precautions should be mandatory in indoor public spaces. They didn't have, a well-defined introduction like this. Masks should be mandatory when entering an indoor public space. There. Now I know by reading this that the whole paragraph is going to be about that. And then you need a well-defined conclusion. In conclusion, by face masks being mandatory in indoor places, we are protecting ourselves. That is going to point one. Being cautious of others. Point two. And respecting those around us. So those are tying back together the 3 points that this student made in their conclusion. That is proper. That is how a paragraph should be written. Essentially, a paragraph is like a mini essay. When you go to write like a 5-paragraph essay, you're going to have your introduction paragraph. This backwards camera is really confusing me. You're going to have your introduction paragraph, which is paragraph number 1. You're going to have your 3 points of your topic. That's body paragraph 1, 2, 3, and then your conclusion for a total of 5 paragraphs. So much the same as how this runs. Most of you used Calibri or Arial or Times New Roman in terms of font. I had a couple students that use like, fancy looking fonts. It's very difficult for me to read. So, and for formal essays and formal writing, you should be using like a Times New Roman 12-point font. Another thing, what else? So making sure that you have sources to back up, make sure that you indent, and contractions. So this is within a quote, so I'm not going to change this, but words like don't, because this is in a quote, it can stay like that because the student has taken, information from a resource to back up their point. So we can't change this. But if this student had written a contraction somewhere up in here, it probably would have taken off a couple points because we don't use, I'm just going to write them down here. Don't, write, write instead, do not. And can't, instead, write, cannot. There, instead, write, they are. And, things like that. Any contractions like this, write the full word. When you're writing, I don't know what's happening here, sorry. When you're writing an opinion paragraph for your teacher or an essay, don't use contractions. Do not use contractions. I just use contractions when telling you not to use contractions. So, stay away from that. It's informal language. You want formal language when you are writing a formal report, essay, paper, whatever. So, that's about it for now. I hope that you enjoyed this virtual lesson and the take-up of your opinion paragraphs. And, enjoy. I'll post this video up on Edsby. You can take a look through, and for next time, use the suggestions that I had made, and enjoy the rest of your day.